Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I'm John, and first things first, happy Father's Day to all you fellow dads out there. And to all you children out there, it's a great day to show your dad how much you love him and actually what he means to you. Go to your dad, hug him, hold him tight. Share with him the happy memories you have with him. Also, share with him the bad memories you have with him. These are the things that shaped your relationship with your dad, and they're really important, and that's the reason why these particular memories stick out to you. But ultimately, hug him because you can. I can't hug my dad anymore. You see, I have very mixed feelings when it comes to Father's Day. I remember going to the hospital ICU on Father's Day in 2007 and seeing my dad, and he wasn't, he didn't resemble any close to the strong man I remember growing up. He had lost so much weight, and he looked so frail, and I remember asking him how he was doing. And if you've ever had a parent in that situation, or know someone that in a hospital like that fighting with a major disease like that, it's hard. And I didn't know what to say, so I just asked him how he was doing. And I remember him telling me that the doctor said to him that day that he had at most a couple of weeks left to live, and that uh, he probably wasn't even going to leave that hospital at that point. And what I remember most right now, looking back at that moment when he said those words to me, was that was the exact moment that my brain decided to just take the day off and stop working. So many things just hit me all at once. I wanted to hug him. I wanted to just, I wanted to run away and scream at the sky. I wanted to not look him in the eyes. His eyes looked at me with, he had pain, anger, and love, and every emotion a person can have. And I definitely was not prepared for that moment. I stood there frozen like a deer in the headlights. And I didn't know what to really do in that moment. I just knew that I had to say something to acknowledge this moment and respond to just really heavy news I had just received. And to this day, I don't know what I could have or should have said right then. I do wish I had said something different, because for me the moment was so raw and so emotional, and all I could think to say and do was to put my hands up in the I don't know position and say with like weird sad and awkwardness, just Happy Father's Day. Oh man, does that moment stick with me. Yeah, I mean, I can't sugarcoat it. That Father's Day in 2007 has really impacted every Father's Day for me since. Every year I get to relive that moment. And at the same time, there's so much else that I get to remember. Other moments that are just as special and powerful in their own way. Before that Father's Day was always pretty cool when I was growing up. My dad loved to cook and grill, and most years that's exactly what he did on Father's Day. Those moments, getting to see him use whatever grilling tools we got him, or fishing equipment, or certain clothes for the holidays. Up here and here, those days are special for me. And he was a very special man in his own right. Looking back, I feel one of the things that I appreciate about my dad is just how human he was. He was not perfect. He was not an idealized TV dad. The man screwed up. He made mistakes. And sometimes he would make me so angry. I remember one time when we were playing catch that I took the baseball and I just fired it at him as hard as I could. I wanted to knock his head off. and, 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 and oddly enough, in that story, when I did that, he pointed at me and says, "That's what I'm talking about." He was so proud that I did that. And that's another story for another time. Mm. And other times, he was just so very kind and soft, and he would give my brother and I a hug, and we felt his love. We knew we were safe. He was the perfect embodiment of a guy who became a young dad and had no clue what to do. And throughout the years, he learned, he tried, and he honed his dad craft and became a really, really awesome dad. While I can't share a drink and a cigar with him like one Father's Day that we had, I can definitely share things about him that I appreciate and love. My dad taught me how to catch and throw a ball. We would play football in the yard, and he was always Dan Marino, and I was always some random kid picked from the stands, and I was chosen to come down into the game to help them win. And every time we won the game, fourth down with 1 second left to go, and we're down by like 5 points, and he would say hike and just throw the ball. And I gotta say, it was really nice of these imaginary referees to give us multiple chances to win, because while my dad could fire a football pretty well, I was not always the best at catching the ball. I was really good at letting the ball just kind of hit me and fall to the ground. But to his credit, the man kept getting up and firing the ball until we won the game. And I remember we would spend hours on a lake where he taught me how to fish and tie knots, and drive a boat, and the wonders of beef jerky. Looking back, I remember how he freaked out that one time this alligator that was about as long as the boat popped up right beside us, or the time the snake tried to get in the boat and my dad went kung fu with a paddle. I remember the joy he had when he caught this really big largemouth bass, this largest bass I had ever seen in person. And to be fair, I was jealous. I wanted to be the one who caught the fish, but just remembering the battle he had with that fish, and the smile he had on his face, that ultimately just means so much more. And carrying on with those kind of stories, I remember he would take me to the golf course and he wanted to teach me the fine art of the game of golf. And what I ultimately remembered the most was learning the fine art of weaving a tapestry of curse words and the proper technique to use your golf club to find your ball in the woods, because ultimately the fairway seemed to be off limits and the rough in the woods were the only place I was able to hit a ball. And one cannot imagine the joy and the freedom I felt when he let go of my bicycle seat the first time. I remember that day. He was right there and I begged him not to let go, and he was running along beside me, and he had, by that point, had actually let go. I was on my own for the first time, just paddling away. And I was scared and I was excited, but he was there to catch me when I ultimately fell, and that's what I missed the most. It's not the teaching me to drive stick shift, or him watching Saturday morning cartoons with me, or getting to hear the secrets that only a very select few people get to hear about him or got to know about him. What I really miss was him catching me and being there. If I had a question, he was there to answer it. If I needed help, he was there. And when I really, really needed my dad, he was there to be my dad. And while he did not pass away on that Father's Day in 2007, that came 12 days later, I knew I would not have my dad anymore. I was on my own, like that time he let go of my bicycle seat. And let me tell you what, myself being a dad now, I really, really wish that my dad was still here. He never got to meet my son or my nephew, but I know there's a lot of advice that I could have used. Like, how do you not spend an hour installing a car seat for the first time? And 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 what do you do the first time? How do you respond the first time your kid gets hospitalized? And what advice would you have given me during my two divorces? Or what could he have said to me during the time when I was laid off during COVID? And did he feel the same way that I did when I let go of my own son's bicycle seat? Did that proudness, the knowing that my kid can now do something on his own and he doesn't need me for that anymore. Like, what was that like for him? I really want to know those things. And which leads me to today. Since that Father's Day in 2007, I used to drink from the coffee mug that I got him also many years ago when I was a little kid. But this year, my son got me my own coffee mug, and it's a very touching gift to which he cannot ever really know how much it means to me or the reasons why that coffee cup that he got me means so much to me. And for the past 9 years, I've had my own Father's Day celebration. My son, I know, probably looks at me and he would be like me looking at my dad and say, I'm not perfect. I'm not an idealized TV dad. I screw up. I make mistakes. However, I give him hugs. I do my best to make him feel loved. When he has a question, I'm here to answer it. When there's something to learn, I'm here to teach. And when he really needs me to be his dad, I'm always here to be his dad. To my son, to my dad, I love you both. Happy Father's Day again to all you dads out there. And son, thank you for the mug. I hope you all have a great day. Until the next time, take care.